thank you for joining us. 1 p.m. GMT, or no, BST, British Summertime. Yes, we are in British Summertime. Thank you for joining us. It's Melanie and it's John.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you, Mel.
And nice to see you. Thank you so much for giving us the time, because it's time to talk about nominations. I see. Wow. You guys are all like coming with the questions already. I can't even, I'm trying to manage everything. I see you, Dawn. Thank you for joining us. Deborah, I see you. Hello, Deborah. Deborah says, hello, Melanie and John. Great to see you both. And it's great to see you too. So Deborah's already tested the question and the chat functionality. I'll be monitoring that throughout the webinar, the short webinar today, where we cover nominations and awards. So Deborah, where are you logging in from? Dawn, where are you logging in from? Where is everyone logging in from? I'm seeing logins, but I'm not seeing where you're coming in from. Drop us a line. Let us know. From London, thank you so much. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Because this applies to the Black British Business Awards, but quite frankly, the tea that you guys are going to get today, it applies for every awards program, right, John?
That's exactly right. It's getting the basics right for any award program, so that it's not only just useful for BBBA, but anything else that you might want to be doing.
Exactly. And I'm seeing a lot of cheers. Thank you so much. I see a whoop whoop. Thank you. Thank you guys for being, wow, just here and complete. The recording is available afterwards though, so make sure that the friends that you know that should be applying for awards, that they get to log into the recording afterwards. But we wanted to put this out because it's all about nominations today. So this is the one instance I gotta say, guys, that I haven't followed my own advice. So what does that mean? I love running the awards program. I absolutely love awards programs, but actually I don't really apply for awards. I'm actually notoriously bad at it. Sophie and I are both very bad at applying for awards. We just kind of do the work and expect people to notice the work. But actually, I'm not practicing what I preach right now, but I am still preaching because I've seen big change. So when people apply for awards, it's not just about winning the award. It's not just about becoming a finalist of the award. There's a whole lot of other benefits and stuff that comes along. And so we're going to cover that today a little bit, just to help you guys out. When do nominations end? Dawn, I see you're on the phone. We have members of our team that are on this phone as well. Dawn, can you tell us, let us know in the chat, let us know in the questions, when do nominations end? She's going to let us know. It's end of April-ish, kind of. I think you guys have approximately like 2 weeks.
28th.
April 23rd. Is it 23rd? No, 23rd, but we may extend it to the 28th if you guys need a little bit more time. But let's just say 23rd to be safe. So, why apply for awards programs? Why apply for an awards program? John, what have you seen?
When I go out and I talk to people about applying for awards, not just the Black British Business Awards, but awards only, do you know the response is, I just haven't got enough time to do it. And there's quite a lot of, there is merit in that first response. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, a little bit daunting to go through the application process. But my response to that, and my premise to why it's a good time, why it's a good thing, is because it's more than just the awards. And actually what's really the most interesting thing at the awards day and when reviewing the applications is how people think about the roles that they do. And getting that down into 100, 150 words, however long, it's a real challenge. And the way I encourage people to look at it is, it's not just about filling the form in. It's actually it's career development. It's about thinking about what you do and condensing that into something that, quite frankly, anyone can understand. And if I can understand what people do in their jobs, then pretty much anyone can.
Exactly.
But there's a real skill in doing it. So it's not just about the awards. it's not just about the process of the awards, Mel. It's actually, I think, it should be a core part of your career and your career development. And if you're looking to move on into different jobs, different roles, for me, this is something that everyone should be doing.
Exactly. No, totally agree. And this is both internal and external, guys. So this could be if you're working for your organization and there's an awards program going, we're talking about those ones as well. Because the thing is, we live in an era right now where we can't necessarily, especially if we work for an organization, we can't necessarily say what we do. You know, there's a lot around confidentiality and privacy in regards to a company's operations. And so for you to get a brand in the marketplace, really good idea for you to apply for awards programs, even if they are employee awards. It's absolutely huge. Like I'm in a few months, I'll be judging the Barclays internal employee awards programs, and they are high profile. It gets you on the radar of the CEOs and the managing directors, as well as externally when there is press. So it's difficult. Don't get me wrong. Applying for awards programs are like CVs to me.
Yeah, that's exactly
It's like, I'm not gonna lie, I hate doing I don't even know how to do a CV anymore, and I'm really glad. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm an entrepreneur, that doing a CV just does my head in. But it not only puts you out on the radar, it forces you to articulate your business, articulate your work in a totally different way for external people to understand it. It forces you to just say it in a few sentences rather than running on. Ooh, we have some comments. Thank you. Totally agree. We don't share our successes. Yes, we don't. And that's another thing. We do have to share our success. Oh, and an award is a great way to highlight our achievements. Yes. So yes, thank you for all the comments. Use the chat function, guys. Use the question functions. I am monitoring them, and I will try to insert them in. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm. I see like a lot of comments and typing. Woo-hoo. So what are we talking about today? Today, just a little agenda, we are going to go over what we as Black British Business Awards, but also other organizations that I work with that I've judged for, what they're looking for in regards to being a finalist and winning, and good nomination forms. We're going to go through some of the don'ts. Oh man, some of the don'ts. Man, I've seen a lot of don'ts, my friends. So I'm going to go through some of the don'ts, some of the things that just turn any judge off of the form. And then we're also going to go through, how do you go about finding awards to even apply for? So yeah, we're going to go through it all, and we're going to try to answer all of your questions. So nominations open up or close down, for the awards on April 23rd. My friends, put that date in your diary. If I see you registered for this webinar and you haven't filled out a form, I'm coming for you because I have your email now. So everyone who's registered for this call really needs to have a nomination form. And yes, this is me and my form. Okay, good times. So how do you, number one, find awards? How do you find awards? Like, how do you, John, how would someone find an awards program that they'd be able to even nominate for, or that they'd be able to go for?
Well, the vast majority of awards programs out there are sector by sector, industry by industry, and that's really the starting point. So either through professional bodies or through groupings, and there is real merit in doing that in terms of your professional standing and your professional development in the sectors that you work in and operate. Of course, the Black British Business Awards are national. The key word, as I keep on reminding you, Mel, is the British, which is across the whole country, and it's not just about sectors. It's across all sorts of different areas. But I do think a national award such as this is a good starting place, and I think encouraging people to look at national awards which allows you to be a little bit, perhaps a little bit broader in terms of what you are communicating to your peer group. What I have found in sector awards, it is very, very niche. And it often requires a lot more work in terms of developing what you're trying to say. But it's really very simple. Just go to Google and just start searching, and you will be amazed about the number of award opportunities out there. Interestingly, some of them are also have monetary value. I don't want to put any pressure on you now on that.
There you go. I don't feel that pressure, John. I don't feel the pressure.
But you know, there are some very interesting awards out there. But it's all the same discipline, really, and ensuring that you communicate who you are, what you do in a concise, external-looking way is a skill that is applicable to them all. And after all, with the Black British Business Awards, you have a partnership with the National Media Partnership, the Daily Telegraph, who are looking for stories and push stories out. As I keep on saying to all finalists every year, which is, why the hell should we expect anyone in the Telegraph or anyone else to know about what you do and the successes you do if you yourself are not sure and you're not communicating?
Ask him again, John. Ask him again.
So this is, we work, and my colleagues here work with all of the finalists to pull out their stories. And you would be amazed, Mel, the amount of times we interview people on the finalist day or subsequently, and you go, why wasn't that in your application? Why didn't you include that in your application? And the amount of people who say, oh, I didn't think it was relevant, or I didn't think it's what you were looking for. Well, today we're going to tell you what we're looking for, and equally exactly what we're not looking for.
I think what's really helpful in regards to looking for awards programs, just not just Black British Business Awards, but look at you. Okay, where do you live, number one? So typically I would say boroughs of London, the cities of the UK, they all have awards programs. Where do you live, like in regards to what's your industry? Where does your business operate? Where do you operate? There are a lot of geographical awards out there. And then, as John said, there's the industry awards. And then who am I? I am a Black British woman. So that means that, I know there are women's awards out there. I know there are Black awards out there. I know there are British awards out there. So it's a way of looking at yourself through multiple lenses and saying, okay, this is who I am, this is where I live, this is what I do, and slicing it up to say, well, there are some awards here. What are the business awards in the UK? What are the Black awards in the UK? What are the gendered awards in the UK? What are the South London awards in the UK? There's so many things that you can look at that don't necessarily have to deal with just your race or your gender or your industry. It could be for how long you've been in business. There are some startup awards. There are awards for entrepreneurs. There are awards for, it's crazy. There are a dog owner, like Rufus can get an award these days. There are a lot of awards programs. I'm not mocking awards programs. I think that they are really important. But I do think that we don't explore across the board all of the awards programs. Even putting it on your signature, saying that you were a finalist or an award winner across your signature, even if it's a small awards program, it still means a lot. It gives you credibility in a way that we don't get to express sometimes when we're working for an organization. So that's why it's really important that you look at yourself through different lenses, look at all of these options, and Google is your friend. Google is your friend. Once you apply for one or even two of those, you'll find, as John says, is that it gets a bit easier because we are looking for the same things. We are looking for some bare bones information that we're about to go through. So, yes.
Add that when, as an employer, it really does make a difference when sifting through CVs or applications or interviews, and it gives people real benefits in terms of career development. And it's not just, I think the logo and endorsement on email signatures and the like are good, but what I find really striking is that people who have gone through this process are a lot clearer and a lot more effective in interviews,
Yes.
and are a lot more effective, I think, in their career progression.
Yes, exactly, because it forces you to articulate in a way that you may not be used to articulating. In a nice, concise, award-winning articulation. So I'm gonna just zip through some of the standard categories, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. The Black British Business Awards form has been reputed to be one of the more hardcore forms. I've had a lot of feedback saying, "No, why do you ask for so much information?" But then no one asks me why the awards are so great. Because they are. They're great because in asking that information, the judges get a more complete picture of you. The organizations that sponsor each award, they get a more complete picture of you, because it's not just about winning, guys. It's not just about that ceremony. What happens is, let's just say, one of the big banks are sponsoring an award, one of our awards. Later on, what happens is that they're like, Mel, we have we're having an event. Can we invite this person? Or Mel, we're doing this program. Can we have this person? So they refer back to our winners and finalists. And that means that there is a certain vouching for, there's a certain accreditation. Additionally, we're a business awards program. So the stuff that we need to know is the guts of your business. It's the guts of your work. I don't really care what you look like. I don't care how popular you are. But I need you to have business impact. And that means that the form is going to be a little bit hardcore. That's the bad news. Good news is that once you fill out our form, you'll sail the rest of them. I shouldn't say that. It's not shading. I'm not shading the rest of the awards programs. I'm not doing that. But there is a lot of information that you have to give, and it will put you in good stead to fill out other awards nominations once you fill out our nomination form. No shade to my awards colleagues, friends. So, usually there is a very clear, like I have the paper copies here, but usually you'll be filling this out online. So, don't ask for, the first things first is that please submit in the format that's requested. So you may say to yourself, but Mel, why wouldn't I just fill out this form and, send it in? You'd be surprised how many people want to create their own kind of document, their own nomination document. No, we need to be able to compare you across hundreds of nomination forms. So y'all don't get it twisted. You got to fill out this nomination form online. Please don't send me a PDF Word document. It ain't gonna work. I don't want that because I won't be able to do anything with it. So always submit your nomination forms in the format requested. We work really to make it applicable to everybody. So please don't go off piste on this one, okay? It may sound basic, but you'd be surprised how many people we have to go back to and say we can't accept your form because it's not in the format that's legible or in the format that we accept, okay? So when we, classic example is, in 250 words, please give a brief overview of the nominee's career path and their role within the current company organization. So that's the first thing, 250 words to describe your career path and your current role. Whew. Now, 250 words may seem like a lot, but actually, if you're looking at a whole career path, it's not a lot at all. It's actually really tough to explain everything. The best answers are not bullet points. We do like sentences. However, it is really tough to cover all of the important points. And so what I've asked people to do in the past is to say, hey, can you just give me a timeline? Draw on a separate piece of paper, draw a timeline of your career. From the moment that, like, the prep that ran up to it, the starting point where you started to be employed by somebody else, or you started your own business, and then timeline key events over the last period of time where you've owned your business or where you've worked for that business. And then you're going to choose, when you mapped it all out, you choose the best ones. You choose the most relevant ones. So you choose if you've had international work. You choose if you graduated top of your class and you were recruited directly to, NASA to be an astrophysicist. You choose the points that, quite frankly, link your whole career together, because these are the high points, or these are the most relevant points. You may think, but Mel, this sounds like common sense. Why would you even tell us this? You know why? Because sometimes people like to tell me what they ate for breakfast and how much they walk their dog. That's not what we need right now. That's not what we want. You have to go through the whole exercise of knowing your whole career and mapping your whole career, and then choosing, I would say, 4 to 5 relevant points within 250 words to really give us an understanding of the breadth and the length and the depth of your career, giving us the knowledge, your expertise, but then also giving us your scope. If it's depth and scope, that's what we are looking for. So we want that credibility and we want scope. What do you think, John?
I think the key word that you use is relevant or relevance.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the applications, it is difficult to see what the direct relevance is to what you are applying for. You always need to. It's a very important question, actually, because it's how you're setting the scene. It's how you're beginning to tell your story. So thinking carefully, it's not just a brain dump of what your career has been so far. It's actually pulling the 3 or 4 key things which prove what you are saying later on.
Yes.
It's not just it's actually, it sounds like one of the easier questions, but actually, if you do it properly, it isn't, because it sets people who don't know who you are, it sets the scene and it sets a story, and it's very important. So it does take a lot of time. And the other thing I would say, and I'm going to say this all the time now, make sure there's no spelling mistakes and grammar errors.
Man.
Even companies or job titles spelt incorrectly, it don't come across well.
No, it doesn't come across well at all. Spell check, please. Read it out loud to yourself to make sure that you are, you're even using the right word. Read your application out loud. Please read those 250 words out loud to yourself when you are going back. I constantly on people about their typos. It just shows a lack of care. On the other hand,
I wouldn't allow Canadian English, but anyway, that's just me.
Because that's right. Because now the people who have never left this aisle would probably say that, because they wouldn't know that Canadian English is actually the same as UK English. We use the use in favor and honor. So all this to say is
that's the only similarity.
That's okay. You know what? He's hating on the Canadian English. That's okay. I know you guys love me. So 250 words. Actually, and don't get it twisted either, we don't want 100 words. Don't waste this shot. So some people will be like, please see my website. Please see your what? Like, did you honestly think I was going to go out to your website and then go and look for the information that I need? So don't get it twisted, my friends. Use the 250 words. Don't send me to a website. Don't say things like, my business speaks for itself. Don't have one line, because what that means is that we can clearly see this is not something that you're really up for. This is something that you're not really interested in. And then in that automatically puts you at the bottom of the heap and bottom of the pile. Every example that I'm using, by the way, it's not made up, eh? This is stuff that happens to me. This is the stuff that we got to deal with when we're processing all of these to make it go through the judging panel. So 250 word highlights.
We do check that it's actually accurate.
Yes, of course.
So
of course.
Also, it goes without saying, don't make it up.
Yes, it does. Yes. Now, we have a due diligence process. My friends, we have a due diligence process. We go into company's house and we make sure that your company actually exists. We want to know what your numbers are, because that's what this awards program is about. So don't fluff the truth on this one. And you can tell when there's a lot of fluff, right? You can tell when someone's kind of fluffing up what they've done. And I am all for pumping up people, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, if it's more fluff than content, then we actually have a due diligence team that we engage every year, and they go through all of our nominees and go bang, 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 bang. Like they really go through all of, like, they look you up with it, and we're not just talking about the first page of the Google results. We're talking deep into the sixth. They have to go 6 pages deep, and they got to find all of those articles. Pardon?
It's amazing what you can find on social media.
Exactly. It is amazing what you can find on social media. So, you know what? If there's something that you want us to know, you might want to control that narrative yourself. If there's something that you think maybe we should know about. So the next question that we have is, in 100 words, please give some background to the nominee's company organization, including a brief description of what the company does, number of employees, annual turnover, and how long it's been running. So now this is really particular to a business awards program. This is where we start to get into the figures. So this is where we start to get into the measurable impact. This is where we start to see, okay, how big is your business? We should really be seeing numbers. Numbers embedded in sentences, certainly, but we should really be seeing numbers here. If you're a one-person band, that's not discrediting you from being part of the awards program. Many, many solopreneurs have won and been finalists as part of our awards program. However, what we do want to see is that you have an understanding of what good looks like, what success looks like. And that means that we want to see what your performance metrics are. We want to see that, you'll say to us, how many customers do you have? Did you build it from it's great when I can see, even if someone is running a solo business, if they say they had 0 customers, 18 months ago, and now they have 20 customers, then what we want to see there is growth. We want to see scope. We want to see scale. And I don't want to just, this is not about descriptive words here. Oh yeah, my firm is the best. Excuse me. Or my firm is the greatest. Or we are the premier brand doing this. Nah, I don't want that. I don't want those kind of words. What I want is numbers, figures. And that's been typically difficult for us. If I can just kind of go to the black part for just a hot New York minute. In regards to judging some of the other awards programs that I'm part of, in terms of quantifying our success and quantifying our work, really difficult. We're really community-oriented people, service-oriented people, and so we want to serve, we want to do, we want to help. But in regards to saying, hey, this is the impact that my help has, we're particularly bad at that. So I just want to make sure that we highlight that section. I want figures. I want numbers. I want not just, excuse me, it doesn't mean that you're big. It means that you can indicate growth. So you went from 0 to 20, or you went from 0 to 100. It doesn't mean that you have to be at 100 today. It just means that you're indicating growth. Because the next question is, in 200 words, please provide tangible, measurable evidence of the nominee's success.
But this is the key bit, which is you're saying it, but you also need to prove it. And you've got a number of ways of proving it. One is through the opportunity the application form actually gives you. But the second thing, and you must never forget this, that if you are shortlisted, you will be asked to prove your comments and prove your statistics. And you need to be in a position to be able to back up everything that you're saying.
Exactly. In the position to back up everything that you said to us. So this is where it gets really tangible. And you know what? it's not uncommon for the first time for us to even look at our business in this way is when we're applying externally for awards, and that's okay. But do spend some time to think about, okay, what does success look like? When I've had a victory, when I've been celebrating in my boots, what did I celebrate? It could be that you were published in an article, right? So let's just pretend you were published in an article. So someone mentioned you as an expert, or perhaps your product was featured. So don't just say, oh, my product was featured in, readersdigest.com. What you'd want to say is, my product was featured in readersdigest.com, and readersdigest.com has an average kind of readership of, they cover this, and these are the figures. Like, you want to be able to try to quantify it in some kind of way, because some of these judges, they won't know what Reader's Digest is, or they won't know what that publication is. And so it's about quantifying it a little bit more to say, okay, well, what was the readership of that article? How long up for? How many click-throughs did you get? That kind of thing. It's about quantifying it slightly to say, well, why is this a success? Because if, you could say, hey, I was published in this blog, but if you were the creator of the blog and the blog has a readership of one, your mom, and maybe your dog, then quite frankly, it's a lie. And we're going to find it out, because that's what we do with due diligence. So it forces you to a level of accountability. So I'm not discrediting your success. Don't get it twisted. I am not. What I am saying is I want you to quantify that success a bit more. Yeah, and it could be, I'm talking about entrepreneurs, but it could be about call centers. Like, say, when I worked at a call center, my level of success was how many calls did I answer? How many calls, were in my queue? Like, I was in my queue at the time. There are things that, it could be, it's based on your job. What do people pay you for? That's it. What do you put onto the market that people pay you for? Whether it be your work, your services, or your products. What is it? And then try to quantify it that way.
Mel?
Yeah?
Just to add, hi everyone, this is Dawn, part of the team. What we do is we do give you tips on that specific thing as well. So if you look at the first page on the online form, we actually outline the top tips and guidance for nominations. So, everything that Mel and John have said is all there. So don't forget to read it, because that will literally give you the template on how to answer these sorts of questions.
So didn't get a chance to introduce Dawn. Woo, woo, woo. Like, you guys got the whole BBVA team. Like, we can't even get together like this in real life. Like, this is very special to all of us right now. Dawn is, yes, some of the guts and grime and the engine of the Black British Business Awards. If you've already applied, if you've already come to our events, you've already spoken to Dawn, you've already heard from Dawn, and she is, yes, going to give us a little bit of, she's going to share with us later on her don'ts, because we see a lot of don'ts. And so now, and Dawn is really, really great, because what she's allowed me to do is not see the don'ts, because when I see the don'ts, I start cussing people. I start getting upset. I'm like, why would they do something like that? So Dawn prevents me from seeing the don'ts. She comes back to you and says, I don't think that form is going to work, before I have to say it. It's better that Dawn says it to you than I say it, because I'll just cuss. So thank you, Dawn, for joining us today. I can't hear you, Dawn. Okay.
Hi, well, sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah, she's on mute. Okay. Don't go on mute, Dawn. And get your camera ready so people can see your face. So, next question. In 100 words, please explain how the nominee supports others in their industry and why they are a role model to others aspiring to work in that industry. Now, a lot of us have service-oriented businesses, including my own. So I'm not hating on any of you. However, I want you to put it in that section. So what does that mean? Sometimes what happens is that we focus so much on the role modeling and the, supporting others in the industry that we actually forget, a lot of people forget, that this is a Black Business Awards. This is not the Black British Charity Awards. They're next door. So you should go to them. today, what we're measuring is what your business impact is. And so that means how are you turning what you have into a product and service, and you're exchanging it on the market, whether that be your labor or whether that be your product. That's what we're looking at. This section here, though, acknowledges that, quite frankly, when you are excellent, you influence others. Just by you doing your job, just by you existing sometimes in the workplace, you are a role model to others. You are a success beacon to others. And that's what we want to see in this section. How have you actually impacted others? It could be by mentoring one-to-one. It could be by writing knowledge, kind of sharing your expertise and being an expert on TV. It could be by having workshops or groups. It could be by sponsoring someone. It could be by having apprentices. It could be all kinds of stuff. But I want you to be able to limit it in regards to you being excellent in your job, and then this is a corollary.
But Mel, one tip here to help people answer, and getting this into 100 words is actually it's tough. But one way to frame it is if you think about role models in your own career and how they have helped you, your professional career, that will give you the best framework in terms of how to answer it. So almost before you answer it, you need to ask yourself the question, okay, let's turn it on its head. Who have been my role models and how have they helped me? And then you ask the same question of yourself, and that will frame your answer in a I think a very strong way.
Exactly.
You can see when people have done that as well now, and it makes it really shines through. So good luck with getting it into 100 words.
Yes, you have to get it into 100 words, my friends. You do. Again, it's about getting right down to the heart and the core of the matter, rather than fluffing it up and being like inspirational. The thing is, I know when I look at the people that really are cited to be influencers or cited to be kind of mentors, role models, they are mentors, role models because they are doing what they do excellently. They are not amazing mentor role models because they are amazing mentor role models. What do I mean by that? I mean, let's go to pop culture. If you look at Beyonce is excellent at what she does. And therefore, we like to look at what she does because she dances, she sings, she acts, she does all the things that Beyonce does. She does them excellently, and then we like to look at her because of that. She's not a mentor or role model because she goes out and mentors and role models. Does that make sense? Like, she's not going to say, oh, I'm going to go and work and be a role model today. That's what my work is. That's what my business is, being a role model and working. That's not what Oprah does. That's not what Michelle Obama does. They're not being paid to mentor or role model. They are doing their jobs. They are doing their work. They're fulfilling their purpose on this planet. And then in them being excellent in that, that's when they turn into mentors and role models for people who want to go down the same path. So this is why, like, this part here, really try to construct it in the best way possible in terms of, you know what, I am excellent in my industry. I'm doing excellent work at my job. I'm doing excellent work in my business, excellent growth. And because of that success, then I help people with their success on the same path. That's what happens. And it's a nuanced distinction that you'll see with all of our finalists, every single one, even if you're shortlisted, finalisted, winners, you are doing excellent work in your industry. So I think only my industry right now is role modeling. You know why? Because I run an awards program, but very few other people do that. So that's why your business is not role modeling. Your business is your business, and you become a role model by doing excellent business. That's the nuance, and it's tough. But you know what? We've had 50 finalists a year, and they managed to do it. So I know that y'all can do it. You guys are getting a lot of tea right now. Deborah, I see you. You guys are getting a lot of tea. So I expect amazing forms from you. Good times. So what have we seen? Dawn, I'd love to hand the mic over to you, even though I can't see your face. But I'd love to hand the mic over to you for you to let us know what are some of the don'ts? Like, what are some of the things that you've seen in the last few years where pretty much you've either had to send it back to ask them to fill it in, or it's about you know that they're not going to be able to get through.
Thanks, Mel. Sorry, I'm having some webcam difficulties, but mainly what I said initially is they don't read the tips and guidance section. It's a bit to read, which I completely understand, but once you've read it, it's the same as a job description. It will literally give you what we want to see. And people who read it are typically more successful than those that don't. So that's just tip number one. And then the second don't is rush. Please don't rush this. We can tell that you've rushed this. We can tell that you've waited until literally 11:58 before the deadline to submit it. So please, please don't rush this. We know that deadlines can be tight. People have jobs, people have lives. But if you are dedicated to making sure you are successful in your application, then treat it as you would a proposal. Treat it as you would, sending your CV for that job you've always wanted. So read the tips and don't rush. Those are the main 2 points. And then the third one I would say is don't undervalue yourself. As Mel said, particularly as Black people, we can sometimes mask undervaluing yourself as humility. And no, Mel's shaking her head. Don't do that. Because you don't stand out if you don't say how good you are. And it's also an opportunity for you to see how much you've overcome, how much your business has grown, and how much you have grown as an individual, an entrepreneur, a professional. So use that as an opportunity to actually see what you've achieved and write it down. Following on from that, again, demonstrate your growth. Not everyone is going to be a Fortune 500 company. Some people will be starting up. So, as Mel said, if you had no customers and you've grown it to 20, that is growth. If you have improved on your profit from last year, that is growth. If you've expanded your team, that's growth. So tell us your growth. And don't shy away from it. Everyone is growing, everyone is learning. So use it as an opportunity to show us that you are constantly striving for excellence and constantly striving to grow your business, or if you are a professional, your career. And the other thing I would say is not completing all the questions. Some people, for some reason, think that one question is more important than the other. No, every question is as important as the question before and the question afterwards. So please ensure that you have answered every question to the best of your ability. And also, if you have someone who's possibly good at writing, good at editing, get them to read it for you. Get them to give you some tips. Quite a few people know someone who's in media or in PR or in marketing, and they get them to read it for them and just kind of make it more externally focused and more in tune in what we're asking for you. So, don't forget to ask other people as well. So that's very important. And that is my main don'ts. And I'm happy to share this on, in the chat box if anyone wants to read it again. And as Mel said, the team is always here to help you. So if you have a question, email us. Don't just submit it. Email us first. We can't tell you exactly what to say, but we can give you guidance.
Our whole team is invested in making sure that we have as many amazing nominations as possible. Not because we go around and say, oh, we have 200 nominations or 500 nominations. That's not it. We know that even the exercise of creating a nomination form is valuable. It forces you to articulate your career and your business in a way that we don't often get. And so we know from the feedback that we've received, people who have not even been able, have gotten through to be a finalist or a winner, the mere activity of creating that nomination form changes the way that they see their business. That's the direct feedback that we get, that I have gotten myself, where my friends have told me, strangers have told me, didn't get through, but man, like just filling out a nomination form and thinking about my business from an external point of view, or thinking about my career from an external set of eyes, then it clarified what I should be driving for and the kinds of things that I have to do in my career alongside working. So it's about how do you position yourself. It's about thinking about your career strategically a little bit more rather than it being just head down and doing the work, which we are inclined to do. So we didn't want to make this a long session. If you guys have any questions, because we're now coming to the end, but if you have any questions, you may want to pop them in the chat box now anymore. I think we've addressed most of them throughout the talk that we've had.
Mel, I've just got a couple of additional points just to build on what Dawn said. It's really important as well not to duplicate. So quite often you see repeated points or repeated messages in the answers given, and it's really important that the answers and the questions are designed to enable you to tell a story. So you only need to make your point once. You don't need to duplicate it because you haven't got a lot of word count to fill everything in. So use it very wisely, use it very carefully, and we really do read every word. You don't need to repeat and reinforce something that you've already said. And just my final point: spelling, grammar, getting names right, getting companies spelling right. All of it really matters. It really does matter.
It does. It really does. Yeah, those little things will just, ooh-wee, We're speaking to, like, in our day jobs, Sophie and I are like a lawyer and a professor. Spelling errors just don't go with us. Like, it doesn't fly ever. Obviously we're not saying that we're absolutely brutal about it, but you can tell when there's been an obvious lack of care. That's all. So take care of your nomination and do it right the first time. You know what? We really appreciate you for even giving us your time today and showing this kind of commitment. Hopefully, even if you don't put the nomination form in for the Black British Business Awards, that this information will help you in regards to your own strategic positioning in the market, in regards to your own kind of your value statements and your CVs, all of the things that you have to do in regards to position yourself properly in the market for success and growth. This will be recorded. This has been recorded, so that means that you can come back and take some notes, or better yet, you can share it with some friends who need to be nominating themselves for the awards, because we want them to shine their light bright. And if you guys have any questions, then you can email info@thebbawards.com, and we will be happy to answer your questions. 2 weeks. April 23rd, don't get it twisted, get your nomination form in, and yes. Oh, I'm sorry, one last thing. Thank you so much to Dawn and John.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Dawn.
You have the best job in the whole wide world. Thank you guys so much. It was really lovely having both of you, and it was really lovely to see you guys all. So bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. As I try to turn off go to meeting.